The first reason on my list is there are a lot of people already. Anyways, depending on the type of person that you are, I'm talking from my own perspective, right? I'm somebody that I don't like to do what so many people are actually doing or into, because things like that actually lead to some of the reasons I am actually going to talk about. That's why I made it number one. This because other reasons I am actually going to talk about. Now, an average individual, if you just come out, everybody's a nurse, everybody have gone to study nursing. So to me, like I said, in my own opinion, in my own perspective, I don't know about you, me, I don't like doing things that so many people are into, and at the end of the day, disrespect could they enter, because it's not something that is rare again. Like people now see that something that is even common. Like back in those days, like when you finish nursing school and you be like, oh, you graduate nursing school is hard, be like, oh more. But now, even when you say, oh, I'm a graduate, I finished nursing school, people just say congrats and just move. Like it's not this thing. And me, I like to do things that are very, very exceptional, things that will make me raise my shoulder, like, yeah, I did that, right? Understand? So depending on the type of person that you are, but this is not me saying nursing is not difficult. Depending on the type of person that you are, and depending on your own definition of difficulty, right? And the way technology is and the way the world is advancing, there are so many countries that they've made studying nursing very easy. There are some countries now that you can even study nursing online, 100% online. There are some that in 2 years you're already a graduate. So you see all those merge, all those everything that they used to just get, everything just make me as a person, I don't really fancy the course. And for most of you that follow me, you guys know that in my channel I used to say what's me I cannot do, right? Most of the time I don't really used to encourage people to do it, unless if you cannot do the one that I can do, and then I was okay, if you cannot do the one that I can do, okay, go for this one. So that's the first reason. So the second reason on my list why I feel like people should stop studying nursing is that internships are very difficult to secure. I've known that I've come here in the past, come advertise nursing to you guys, because I noticed that majority of the immigrants, you don't want to go for the hard life. You just want something very quick, something very easy for you to switch. And we all know that nursing actually gives us, not us, I'm not part of them, give people that pathway, like sharp and fast switching like that, right? So because I feel like people want to actually study nursing, that's why I dive right into research, looking for cheap school, cheap universities, cheap countries where you can study. And you guys know one thing, I say one thing in my channel, that regardless of any course you want to study, make sure you study it the cheapest way as possible. As long as there is a pathway for you to jackpot, there is a licensing same pathway, make sure to study it the cheapest way as possible. Because to me, it doesn't make sense using loan to study a course when somebody in UI will study it for 2.5, I be 15,000, and then you people can collect the same salary, you will be paying back loan, that person will be saving money. Do you know the law of compounding? Imagine in a year now, you guys, maybe you are earning 70,000, you are paying loan, the other person is not paying loan. Let's even say the person have a lot of expenses, and then maybe like in a year you're able to save for maybe 20,000 with your extra time, right? 20,000 in 5 years with the interest compounding, compared to somebody that will just finish paying their loan in like 5 years, then they will start saving. Is it the same thing? It's not the same thing. So to me, if you can study it very cheap and affordable, and you're comfortable there, and then another thing I say is, in as much as I used to advise people to study courses in the cheapest place as possible, make sure the place is very comfortable for you, even mentally. Because me, I'm somebody that no matter how cheap the place is, if my mind is not mentally adapting to their environment, so that's why I said the cheapest place that you can, right? For example, if you want to study medicine, maybe they give you nursing, for example, in OAU, right? I know that OAU, you know, the lifestyle, the environment is gonna stress you. Me, I'm somebody that I don't like physical stress. That's why majority of the time, aside when I travel out, right, I like to go for private universities that has reputation. because they will not just stress unnecessarily. Like, you know, there are some, most public university, they want you to feel that yes, you're studying nursing. Me, I'm not meant for them, just for the academic, to practical, go home. Don't come and be stressing me, be telling me to do. No, please. Right? So in that scenario, let's say for example, if I'm in Nigeria, if I was to study nursing, for example, for you guys to understand what I'm trying to say, right? So instead of going to, if I'm somebody that I cannot cope with lifestyle of UI, right? For example, they can have one class, that one is stress to me. I can try to go to the cheapest private university in Nigeria. So that way, I've kind of go to the cheapest the cheapest institution as possible that I can. In as much as there are some schools outside Nigeria that is even cheaper than some private university. I'm just using to do an example. You understand what I'm trying to say? So instead of me carrying that money, I say, oh no, I want to go to US and go and study nursing. I want to go to UK and go and study nursing for £15,000. I can study it in Nigeria for 2 million naira in a private university. There's some private university that is even 1 million naira. Do you guys understand where I am to come from? Right? So make sure to study your nursing. Or any course, the cheapest place, as long as the place is comfortable for you, the place is not stressing you mentally or anything like that. Yeah. So that's the second reason on my list. The third reason on my list is you need at least 1 year experience. You know, my second reason was like, it's not difficult to find internship. Person when not see internship, I want to take the experience. So sometimes when people don't actually find internship, they try to do like volunteer work, right? And that one goes to number 4. Most immigration pathway actually requires you to have 1 year paid experience. So just like I'm saying, if you finish as a nurse, right, it's very difficult for you to get your internship or your first experience. So sometimes you have to volunteer. And when you actually volunteer, there are some, depending on the country you are, depending on the country that you find yourself, right, you can get volunteer easily. There are some countries that even when you want to volunteer, they will say there is no space. But if you find space, glory to God. And there are some that they will actually volunteer in the hope of, oh, they will recruit them. My dear, once you are volunteer, they are not going to recruit you. They will just use it at the end of the day. And even if you volunteer for like 5 years, I've read a story recently of a nurse that actually volunteered in the hospital for 5 years. And this hospital did not recruit. Like, people had to come online and start saying, you push to recruit this person now for like 5 years. So you volunteering does not mean that they are going to recruit you. And that's one thing I told you. The first reason, there are a lot of people already, right? It does not mean they are going to recruit you. So make sure that when you're casting your net, make sure you cast it right. Or if you want to volunteer, make sure you are volunteering in a hospital. Maybe they have vacancy or they have chances of recruiting, because it does not make sense you're volunteering for all those years and then there's nothing to show up for it. Because the thing is, no matter the number of years that you volunteer, if you like volunteer for 5 years, if you like volunteer for 10 years, to the best of my knowledge, right, they are not then they used to accept volunteer experience. But now, because there are so many people that have studied nurse, everybody's a nurse now, so of course they've set the bar high, so they no longer accept volunteer experience for immigration purpose. If you volunteer, maybe you can get nursing jobs in another vacancy in another institution or nearby country. But for the purpose of moving abroad, maybe for a country like Australia, for a country like UK, for a country like USA, to the best of my knowledge, they do not accept volunteer experience. It has to be paid. That means you have to show them your pay slip. That is what they paid me for. Australia, they don't even used to accept volunteer experience. It has to be paid, right? So this one will bring me to the next reason, which is job oversaturation, right? That's number 5. So the next reason on my list is job oversaturation, just like buttressing my first point. And that was what I made the first point, because that first point begot every other reason I am. Is it begot or begat? Begot, anyone pick it. Any other reason I'm going to talk about. So the next one is job oversaturation. Gone are those days that nurses find job easily. Before you come out of school, they've recruited. Now, now, which other job? There's no difference between you and somebody that actually even studied geography. There's some countries that it is really, really over. You go check there your degree. Not saying why I study like this. Yeah, so it's very difficult to find a job now. at volunteer or at, so depending on the country that you are. But overly now is very difficult, in as much as we still have some countries that they are still in their need of nurses. But these countries, they want nurses that they have a lot of years of experience, and this country, they will still insist that they don't want volunteer, just to purchase my point. So there's job oversaturation. So if you're going into nursing with the hope of you getting a job, right, if you're not in a country that you know that there is immediate employment, so as they come out like this, they go employ you, just abort mission, go for other courses. And in my subsequent videos, I'll talk about other courses that you guys can go for. And another reason I'm making this video is that, and the thing is, and if you guys notice, you guys know I don't really do paid packages like before again. That's because so many things are changing. I don't like, I come, I do package, and then before you know it, maybe something changed, or this is just like me come and tell people that come and study nursing. I had clients that I've done nursing admission for, right? But then making research and all of that, like now, I'm not even going to advise anybody to study nursing. So somehow it's making me feel bad that maybe you not have said it, right? But you guys know that me, I'm always real on this channel. I'll come and tell you. But I'm not a wish. I'm not studying nursing. I just came about this information through, okay, let me just make research, let me just check this, let me just check that, right? So tomorrow again, I can come and say, study the nursing, no, I think it's like this. But for now, this is the information that I have, right? So if you don't have like a backup plan, I do not really advise anyone to study nursing, because there is no immediate employment right now, regardless of where you study it, right? Yeah, but depending, let's keep going, Sham. Next on my list is paid experience. So let's even say you're lucky, you finish your nursing school and you're able to get a paid experience. Anyways, this video is 12 minutes. I'll continue my next video.